Hello students, welcome to the part 1 of seed structure and germinations. So before starting of this chapter, there are some of the few terms that we should recollect before proceeding to the chapters. Seeds. So we have already completed our flower chapter. In that flower chapter, we have understood about the two structure, that is the ovary and the ovule. In that ovary and the ovule, what is the work of the ovary? Okay, and we have already studied up the fertilization, pollination and fertilization also. So what happens when the ovary become fertilized? It gets converted into fruits, and we have seen that inside the fruits there are seeds. What are the seeds? Okay, how the seeds are formed? Due to the presence of the ovules. Okay, this was the basic understanding we should have. Okay, ovules when become mature, it gets converted into the seed, and ovary when become mature, it gets converted into a fruit. So this was a basic understanding. Now let's move to the some terminology part. See, we have written out here fruit, seeds, grain. See, first of all, let's understand one by one. So as I said, how the fruit is made. Okay, when there is an enlarged ripened ovary. What do you mean by enlarged ripened ovary? Okay, when the ovary become fertilized, it forms up the fruit, in short. Okay, so if you had fruits like mango and pea pod, that is the pea. In mango, you can see that clearly. Okay, there is a hard structure that is present in the center of this mango. I know it doesn't seem like a mango. This fleshy part, which the human can eat, is nothing but we called it as a what we called it as a fruit part. Okay, the fruit wall also you can call. Okay, this is the fruit wall. But this hard structure which is present in the center of the mango, it is called as the seed. Okay, so how we should define a fruit? The fruit can be defined as, okay, the structure in which the seed and the fruit wall are not attached together. See, the fruit wall and the seed are not attached together. See, after the completion of eating of the mango, you can throw this seed, right? So this indicates that the seed and this fruit wall are not attached to each other. So that is why they are being termed as the fruit. Okay. Now we are going to learn about the seeds. Then what are the seeds? Seeds are basically nothing but the ripened ovule. Means after the fertilization of ovules, there is a formation of a seed. What is there inside the seed? Okay, so whenever we can see a structure out here of seed. We can see this person is inserting seed inside this soil, and there is a droplets of the water. Okay, bit diagrammatic this is. Okay, what does this seed is going to do? After few days, if you are going to see, that seed is going to germinate, and after the germination it will form into a plant. Suppose, let's take an example. Suppose this is a seed which is sown inside the soil. After few days, that seed will start to germinate. Okay, will start to germinate. Okay, when it will be perfectly germinate, it will form a plants like this. Okay, so this was a seed, this was the germination condition, and this was a formation of a plant. So basically, how this plant got formed? This plant got formed due to the seed only. Okay, so what is so special in this seed then? Let's understand. This seed have a special, this, suppose this is a seed, it is a special structure inside this which is called as the embryo. Okay, we have already studied about this. कि when the first sperm nucleus fuses, okay, when the first sperm fuses with the egg cell, it forms the embryo. What does the embryo means? This embryo condition you have already heard in the human condition also, and in the pollination chapter also. So basically, a baby, an easy language, a baby which is formed inside the seed, it is called as the embryo, which will, when this embryo will get the proper amount of the nourishment, it will turn into an adult. Okay, so the embryo, even we as a human inside the stomach, okay, when we are in the stomach of our mother, so at that period of a time we are called as the embryo only. Okay, when after a period of a 9 month, when we come out of our mother, so that condition is called as the baby or the infants. So same like that, the embryo is present inside the seed, which when get the proper amount of the nourishments, it will eventually convert in itself into a plant. Okay, so what is this outside structure is called? Okay, this outside structure is called the seed coat. What it is called? The outside structure of the seed is called seed coat. What is the function of the seed coat? The function of the seed coat is to protect the embryo from the mechanical damage. Like, we have a monsoon type climate in India. What does that means? During rainy season, we often take up the rest at our home only. We doesn't go that much out. Why we doesn't go that much out? Because we protect ourselves from the rain. Okay, so that's why the home is our protection. So same like that, seed coat is giving the protection to the embryo, okay, from any of the mechanical damages. Like too much of sunlight can also damage this embryo. Okay, too much of water, if the water will percolate too much, so definitely there won't be any kind of a germination. So these are the some of the mechanical damages we can see, or some of the damages from the animals. While animals are grazing, so they might damage this embryo. So this seed coat gives them the protection so that they does not get damage from any of these factors. Now we are going to talk about the grains. So before starting of the grain, let's understand a fruit part. What was a fruit in which the fruit ball and the seed were not attached together? But what is a grain? If you are going to see any of the grains like maize, okay, wheat, rice, this all are the grain. What is the difference between a grain and a fruit? Even grain is a part of a fruit only, but there is only a difference, only a single difference we are going to see. See, if you, now this is a rainy season in India, so you can see this part now. Okay, in the rainy seasons or during the month of the winters, we can see the corn. So if you have seen this corn structure perfectly, so we could see there is an inside white structure. Okay, inside this we have seen a white structure. What is this? This is the seed. Okay, look the maize carefully whenever you bring from the market. And what is this? This is the seed wall. Okay, if you are going to see, this seed wall and the seeds are attached together. Okay, you won't be able to separate up this seed wall and seed, because while eating up the maize, the seed and the seed wall both goes into your stomach. But as in a condition of the mango, only the seed wall part, that is the fruit fleshy part, goes inside your body, and the seed you can throw. Okay, but here in this grain condition, the seed wall and the seed both goes inside your stomach. So that's why we get a lot amount of a protein. So that's why doctor often recommend us to have a lot of proteinaceous diet. Okay, so there was a basic structural difference in fruit. The fruit wall and the seeds were not attached together, but in a condition of the grains, the seed walls and the seeds are attached together. Even grain is a part of the fruit only. Now there would be a different amount of classifications. Okay, so we are going to learn a lot of words. See, there are two types of seeds. One is the monocotyledons and dicotyledons. See, this word mono you have already studied in the chemistry, mono, and again di also you have heard. What does mono means? One. And what does cotyledons means? See, what does cotyledons means? Cotyledons is a structure in which the seeds or the grains stores the food. What are cotyledons? It helps to store the food. What is cotyledons? Which helps to store up the food, and I means two. Okay, let's understand with looking at the example of a diagram. See, monocotyledon. If you look at the maize, okay, if you look at the maize, how the maize look? Like this, something bit of a rectangular, like this. And how does a bean or a pea gram looks like? If you see up the rajma chawal, okay, rajma, sorry, not chawal, rajma, so we could see them the bean kind of a structure. In this monocotyledon situation, like in the maize, there is only a one cotyledon. But here, this pea, gram, bean, both have the two cotyledons where they can store the food. This is the first part, and this is the second part. But maize have only one. Okay. Now seed size. Definitely there is a vary in the size. The seed size, the seeds are very small in case of the poppy and orchids, and quite large in the watermelon and mango, and they are largest in the case of the coconut and double coconut. What is a double coconut? It's nothing but a double coconut is same like the coconut only, but in which two of the coconuts are fused together are called as a double coconut. The double coconut, the size of the double coconut, you can assume like that, okay, it is the size of a human head. Okay, the double coconut size is something as the size of the human head. On the basis of the endosperm. So what do you mean by a term endosperm? The word term endosperm means the nourishments. Okay, see, we have already seen this part, how the endosperm gets formed. The endosperm gets formed due to the second sperm cell, sperm nucleus plus polar nuclei. Okay, with the help of this it forms up the endosperm. What do you mean by term endosperm? Let's recollect. The word endosperm means the nourishments. What does that mean? Nourishments. See, as we have discussed about the human parts, we stay in the stomach of our mother for a period of a 9 month. Okay, so at that period of a 9 month, when we are too small, so we need a nourishments. Okay, so our mother, by eating up the healthy food, gives herself as well as to the baby the nourishment. The same like that the condition happens. Okay, so what was there inside the seed? There was a small baby which is called the embryo. Okay, this embryo will get the proper amount of the nourishment from this endosperm. So this endosperm has been classified into two parts. Okay, one, it has been considered as the albuminous, and the second, it is considered as the exalbuminous. So let's discuss them one by one. What do you mean by albuminous first? The word albuminous means endospermic, means nourishments. Like suppose I take an example of a maize. Okay, So I'm just going to draw for you. Suppose a maze. Okay. So if you are going to see up the seeds of the maze, suppose this is a seed part. Inside the seed part there is a cotyledon. What is the function of the cotyledon? The function of the cotyledon is to store the food. And this outer structure, this which I am marking out here right now, what is this? This is nothing but the endosperm. And what would be the function of this endosperm? The function of the endosperm is to nourish the seedling during the early development. See, this endosperm is going to provide the nourishments, okay, and this nourishment will be stored inside this cotyledon. And when inside this cotyledon, and when the seed will get the favorable condition, so it will take up the nourishment from this cotyledon and get converts into a plant. Okay, this was the endosperm, and the inner structure is called as the cotyledon. And cotyledon is a place where they can store up the food, and endosperm means providing up the nourishments. Like we eat food, so where does it get stored? Inside our stomach. So the cotyledon is like your stomach, and endosperm like the food we eat. Okay, this was about the albuminous part. In this X albuminous, okay, X means without, and albuminous we have studied nourishment. Okay, non-endospermic. Basically X albuminous means non-endospermic. See here in the structure, okay, if you see any of the bean seeds, like what is the structure I said? It's something like a kidney. What they do is they store up the food. Okay, they store up the food. How they store up the food? See, X albuminous means what? Without the endosperm, okay, without the nourishment. See, the food which is accumulated in the endosperm at the early development, but it has been used by the embryo. Okay, so that is why whenever you see up any of the grains, okay, gram and all, you will see this flashy structure. Okay, why this part becomes very flashy? Because what is the function? Okay, this stores up the food and become thick. Okay, this cotyledon stores the food and becomes thick. Okay, and what is the basic difference in albuminous? In albuminous part, the nourishment is not fully used. So that is why it is called as the albuminous, that is endospermic. In X albuminous, the nourishment is fully used up. Okay, the nourishment is fully used up. So as the nourishment is fully used up, so where it gets stored? It gets stored in the cotyledon part. Okay, so that is why the cotyledon seems to be thick and flashy, like a mango. You can see out here in the mango also. Now this is the basic structure of the dicotyledon and the monocotyledon. So we can see out here in a dicotyledon plants, we can see a two part. Here is one part and the other one is here. In monocotyledon, as in a condition of a maze, we can see a single structure only like this. Now they have been named in a different way, epicotyle, hypocotyle. We are going to study them in detail when we will study about the type of germination. As of now, you just understand, okay, what do you mean by dicotyledon? Dicotyledon means which have the two cotyledon, that is 1 and 2, and in monocotyledon only we can see a single part. So let's take an example of a bean seed. Why we are taking up the example of the bean seed? Because bean seed is dicotyledon, and let's understand the difference between this monocots and dicots in two detail. See, I'm just going to make you sure about the different type of a structure which we are going to learn right now. See, they have written out here seed coat. Seed coat. What is the seed coat means? The outer wall. Okay, the outer wall. It is very hard in nature. Okay, and this seed coat protects the inner parts of the seed. Okay, these seed coats are of two types: outer and inner. The outer one is called testa. We have studied about this word. Okay, testa in the floral fate of fertilization, and the inner one is called tegmen. Like in plant cells, there was two part. Okay, cell wall and cell membrane. Both of the function was for the protection only. Same like that, this outer is called the testa and the inner is called the tegmen. This seed coat are of two types. What is the function of the testa? To protect the delicate inner organs. And what is the function of this tegmen? To protect from the bacteria and fungi. If suppose small microorganisms comes inside the seed, so it might damage. Okay, but the seed is not going to get damaged because there is a tegmen which is also helps for the protection of the seed. Now, as we can see outer structure here, see here also there is a structure. If you look at any of the rajma, so we can see this whitish oval scar. Okay, whitish oval scar means the color is whitish and oval in shape. This structure is called hilum. What is this called? It is called the hilum. Okay, this hilum represents the spot where the ovule was attached to the ovary. Okay, because this is the spot where the ovule was attached to the ovary wall. Okay, so this is basically the marking. This is the hilum was basically the marking. So we can see here there was the seed that was attached to the ovary. Now see, in this diagram it is not possible to see, but I am going to help you out with this part. Suppose this is a seed and suppose this is a whitish color scar. Okay, suppose. So there is a small hole which is present above this hilum. This small hole is called as the micropyle. You have heard about this word, micropyle. The word micro means small and the word pile means passage. What is the function of this micropyle? Okay, it is a tiny pore. It is situated close to the hilum. Okay, what is the function of this micropyle? That it helps in soaking of the water. Okay, whenever we sow up the seed, so at that period of a time we water also. So if suppose seed does not have any of this micropyle, so how it is possible for the seed to absorb the water? So this micropyle, the function of this micropyle serves in a two way. That is, first, it helps in soaking of the water, okay, and making it favorable for the germination, and second, for the respiratory diffusion. As we all know that perfectly, that during germination oxygen is necessary. Okay, oxygen is necessary for the seeds to grow. So this serves for the two way, that oxygen will be taken up by the seeds and carbon dioxide will get diffused out of this micropyle. Now as we can see out here, we can see the two thick cotyledons. This is one, this is two. This two thick cotyledon which stores the food. Here we can see one part, that is the radicle. Okay, there is one more part which is lie below the radicle here. Okay, suppose here the naming is not present, so I am going to write by myself. That is the plumule. What is the function of this radicle? See, when the seed will get a perfect germinating condition, okay, perfect germinating condition, so this radicle will develop into a root system, okay, and this plumule will start to develop into shoot system. When the seed will get the favorable condition, this radicle will turn into root system and this plumule will turn into the shoot system. Okay, how to remember? See, R stands for radicle, R stands for root, so RR, and plumule as PS. Plumules give rise to the shoot system. Here RR does not means Rajasthan Royals. Here RR means radicle, root, and plumule shoot, not PlayStation. Okay. So this was all about the dicot situation. Now we are going to learn about the monocotyledons, that is the maize grain. See, here we could see up this diagram perfectly. Here this is the endosperm which is going to provide the nourishment to this embryo which is situated inside this part. Okay, and this protective cover is called scutellum. This scutellum, spelling of the scutellum is this. Okay, now if we zoom and cut this, and this is a structure of a maize. Okay, if I cut the maize in the longitudinal section, what do you mean by longitudinal section? Means in a straight, like a vertical position. So what the structures we can see? See, maize, what I said, in that seed coat and the fruit walls are attached together, as we can see out here. Okay, now the outermost, okay, the outermost layer of this, the outermost layer of this endosperm, this outermost, it is called as the aileron layer. Okay, aileron layer. This aileron layer is rich in proteins, so that it can provide of the sufficient amount of nutrition to this maize. So that's why we always have heard that take a lot of grain in your diet. Okay, because these grains, dals, contain a lot of proteins. So this aileron layer is made up of a protein which is the outermost structure of this endosperm region. Okay, they have been divided into two parts. One is the endosperm and the other one is the embryo structure. Now we are going to move to the next part, that is the new position, that it is called as the scutellum. See, scutellum. Scutellum is nothing but the cotyledon only. But why there is a difference between the name of a scutellum and a cotyledon? See, when we study about the dicot part, at that period of a time we have to write cotyledon. But when it comes to a monocot, so at that period of a time we have to tell at this is a scutellum position. Okay, this was full of endosperm, and this part, this whole part, okay, this whole part is the scutellum. Now inside this scutellum we could see upper many structure. So see, we have already studied what is the function of this plumule. The function of the plumule is to give the rise to the shoot system, and the function of this radicle is to give the rise to the root system. Okay, now what is this coliopatile and coliorhiza? This coliopatile is the protective covering of the plumule. Okay, see, this coliopatile is nothing but the protective covering of this plumule. And what is this coliorhiza? This coleorhiza is nothing but the protective covering of the radicle. So how to understand? See, radicle, root system, rhiza, triple R. Radicle give rise to root system, and that has been protected by coleorhiza. Now P S P. Plumule give rise to shoot system, and it is protected by coleopatile. Okay, because in both the terms coleo is common, only there is a difference of rhiza and patile, so that is why PSP and triple R. This coleopatile, plumule, radicle, coleorhiza are nothing but all are the structures of the embryo. Okay, see, the outer part is called the endosperm. See, we can see out here also, this is the endosperm, and this is the embryo structure. This is the embryo structure which is there inside this cotyledon part, that is the scutellum. Now let's understand the difference between a bean and a maize. See, bean have two cotyledons, we have studied this, and maize have only one cotyledon. In a bean, we haven't discussed about the endosperm. There is no endosperm, because this bean are considered to be the ex-albuminous, because in the early stage of their life they use up this endosperm. So there is, so after getting a favorable condition, there is, we can't see any of the endosperm. But maize have a large endosperm, we have seen that part. It contains a larger embryo, okay, but the maize contains the small embryo. Okay, the whole part of the bean is nothing but the embryo only, but inside the maize part, like this, only this part, okay, there was a division, only this part here where it was a coleorhiza and coleopatile part, only this part was there, okay, only this part, which we are going to call as the embryo. This whole part is the embryo, and this small part is the embryo in the maize. The plumule's leaves are folded and the plumule's leaves are rolled. Okay, the plumules are large and the plumules are small. If you see rajma or any other bean, you could easily see this hilum and micropyle, but in maize, hilum and micropyle are so small that it is not visible. Okay, it is present but not visible. Now we are going to learn about the germination process. See, what do you mean by germination? See, again I am going to make you explain. Okay, there was a seed and the first sign of the seeds, okay, the movement of this shoot system or root system, it is called as the germination. So let's understand this define. It is a process of formation of a seedling developed from the embryo. Okay, inside this seed there was an embryo, and when this embryo got the proper amount of a nourishment, it started to develop into a seedling. Seedling means it is getting, okay, it is getting bit mature. So how does this seed got germinate? Now a main question arises. The seed was in a dormant state. What do you mean by word dormant state? Dormant means inactive state. So how this seed became active? Okay, how this seed became active? So there are some of the conditions that are necessary, okay, for germination. Let's discuss them. They are water, suitable temperature, and oxygen. The first is water. Okay, so what is the function of the water? So first there is a seed, there is a structure, white color structure, this is called hilum. On the above side of the hilum there is a small hole, which is, we are going to call it as micropyle. The function of this micropyle is to absorb the water. Okay, so what is going to happen if this hilum, this small this micropyle, if it absorbs the water, the seed will get swell up. Okay, the seed coat will rupture, and it helps to elongate radicle to come out and to form the root system. So what is going to happen? Suppose this is a seed. Suppose now, if suppose I add water to this part, now this seed will become big, and there would be a formation of the radicals. Okay, the root will come out, the plumule will come out like this. And water is also necessary for the chemical reaction. Okay, why chemical reaction? Because it will help the seed to store up the food in the cotyledons, and it can be utilized by this embryo which is present inside the seed. So water is very necessary. Then we are going to talk about the second, that is the suitable temperature. See, for germination, too high temperature or too low temperature, both are not suitable. The minimum amount of a temperature that is suited for a plant to grow, for a seed to germinate, is around 25 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius. This is the moderate amount of a temperature that is needed for the seed for the germination. Why? What happens at a very low temperature? It inhibits the growth of the embryo. What does inhibits mean? Inhibit means it stops the growth of the embryo at a low temperature. Low temperature. What happens at a very high temperature? At very high temperature, the inner delicate tissues. Okay, what are the tissues? The tissues are the formation of the cell only, but it's in a group. Okay, the inner delicate tissues get damaged. Okay, too high temperature can damage the tissues part. So at high temperature, tissue will get damaged, and at low temperature, the embryo growth will be stopped. So the moderate temperature is around 25 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius for the seed to germinate. Now third, oxygen. See, this water and the oxygen logic is quite of the similar nature only. Seed, hilum, micropyle. As I said, its micropyle serve for the two functions. One is for the intake of the water, and second for the intake of this oxygen. Okay, intake of this oxygen. See, if any of the living thing needs suppose, what are the things that are necessary for the living organism? That is food, water, and the oxygen. So this seed has the living structure inside that is called the embryo. This embryo needs a lot of oxygen. Why this embryo needs a lot of oxygen? For a fast, rapid growth of the cell division and the cell growth. Okay, so two reasons should be necessary. Okay, suppose this is a soil surface and this is the seed. This is the soil surface and this is the seed. So I am going to create a two situation, that is condition A and B. Okay, in which condition will seed will germinate fast? The answer to this part is B. Why? See, in condition A, what is going to happen? If suppose this seed is sown too deep, okay, so it won't be getting a proper supply of oxygen. Okay, as it won't be getting a proper amount of the oxygen, so how this A will germinate then? Okay, so A condition is, suppose you can assume like that, a person who is sitting in a closed room and the room is not properly ventilated also. The room is packed from all the four sides of the wall. And B condition, let's assume. Suppose this is a seed. So there is a minimum amount of space between this soil surface and this seed. So it can get a proper amount of the supply of oxygen. So it becomes very easy for the seeds to germinate. So these were the two conditions, that is condition A and condition B. And the second reason would be insufficient pushing force in the embryonic part to break the upper layers of the soil. See, condition A and B was related to like this: the soil seed is too deep and the seed is at the perfect position. See, if suppose it would need, it would need a lot of force. It has to apply a lot of force to get up of this soil surface, but it is going to need only a minimum amount of energy to get out of this seed soil surface. See, a minimum amount of energy will be required, a maximum amount of energy would be required to get rupture out of this layer of the soil. So there are the two reasons. So thank you student. This was the part 1 of seed structure and germination.